everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the Kickin Show, the 10th episode right before the championships this weekend in Phoenix. Yeah, I know that's Vegas in the background. That's where I wish the championship was going to be. But we're going to have a great show tonight. We got Seth talking about iRacing. We got a matchup, Zane Smith and Matt Crafton last weekend. Zane edging out Matt Crafton for the final spot in the Truck Series. We got the Xfinity Championship predictions. We got Vegas odds. That's why I'm here. We also got a guest, Louis Franck, on the show. Thanks for joining us, Louis Franck. Zach Catanzareti, our regular every week. Seth Eggert, and the guy who kind of runs things and keeps me from running this thing into the ground, Justin Schuoler. So guys, take it from here, and I'm just going to watch the scenery here in Vegas as the ladies walk by.
Well, first off, let's introduce our guest, Louis Franck. Thanks for joining us. If you guys don't know, Louis Franck is one of the most seasoned riders in motorsports. He's been, guest host for Sirius XM, NASCAR. You've written for ESPN, the magazine, and ESPN.com, Sports Illustrated. You have quite the resume. So why don't you go ahead and take 5 minutes to introduce yourself for people who may not know who you are.
1 second. He writes for an organization that's bigger than any other publication organization in NASCAR. Mr. Reuters himself, Louis Franck.
This is true. I grew up on Long Island and went to Bridgehampton for the Can-Am series, not the cars that I have now. Big American V8s and sports car engines. I snuck into the pits, so you knew that I was going to become a journalist or a lawyer or both. And I practiced law and did the racing on the side till '96. And I've covered everything on four wheels and a couple of things on two wheels. And thanks to racing and the fans who paid for my stories when that was a thing, it's been a wonderful life. I've met so many great people, and then I met Jerry.
I was going to say that all ended right here on the Zoom call when you met Jerry and the whole Kickin' team, I'll bet.
Yeah. No, but
I'd like to point out.
I'm living in North Carolina now. I'm a damn Yankee, and it's very pleasant. I see a lot of racing people. But as I said, I've been to Japan for races, South America, Europe. It's been a very good ride, and I'm not done yet. And you'll see me at more races, hopefully next year.
Well, I'd
like to point one thing out, Justin, real quick.
Yeah.
The only other person on the show tonight that's actually covered Jimmie Johnson's entire career from rookie to retirement, other than myself, is Mr. Franck. So, Louis, congratulations. You are also like me. You are experienced.
Thank you. It's OG now, right? I can say OG.
That's right.
I was not at the Streamline Hotel in 1949.
No.
It's not true. I didn't see Ben-Hur race at the Circus Maximus either.
Wow.
You were in college at the time, right?
Oh.
I got to ask, since you've been around the sport for so long, what is probably like your most memorable race that you've covered as a journalist? Oh,
man, that's really hard. But the most memorable, I got to tell you, is the Baja 1000. There is nothing like it. They race through, unending dust and prehistoric rocks built up. You're on Mexico 1, this highway. There's a great saying, don't pass gas in Mexico. It has nothing to do with flatulence. If you're in a passenger car, if you see a gas station, you have to stop. Absolutely. I did a test ride with Iron Man Ivan Stewart. I love NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, but if you had to pick out one event that I've ever covered, and I'm bragging, I've been at Monaco, Le Mans, been to Daytona, but the Baja 1000, and if people listening in, they race down, Baja California goes north to south from the California border, and they race dune buggies, motorcycles. It's amazing. It's absolutely, there's been nothing in my career that's ever been anything like it.
Yeah, my uncle's done that a couple times, and it's not easy. Like you look at a NASCAR race that's 500 miles, and they obviously make that look easy because they do it night and day, but it's not easy. But then you go 1,000 on dirt outdoors. from point A to point B, and you're out in the middle of nowhere if you break down in some places.
Robbie Gordon was racing there because he's raced everything. So
pretty much. And that's actually going on later this month, right? I think we're on the 17th.
Yeah, usually happens this time of year. One quick story. I was there with my virtual older brother, Mike Harris of the AP. And we drove in someone else's chase vehicle from San Diego, but we didn't know that you need an exit visa from Mexico. And we just drove in. No one's stopping you driving into Mexico, you know. But we get to the airport, and we go to check in. Our tickets are in order, and the guy says, "Well, where's your exit visa?" We go, "What?" We got to go see the Sargenti. Sargenti takes us in a room, and he's looking real serious. We go, "Oh my God, what is this going to cost us? We weren't going to go to jail." You know, he looks at us very seriously, and he said, "Well, what are you here?" And we say, "Baja Mil, that's a Baja 1000." And he says, "What team?" And we knew we were golden.
Oh man!
By the way, I just like to. If I pass out, it's because the cannabis is thick in the air.
I was in Las Vegas last April. Between stripper, perfume, cannabis, and cigar smoke, I think the guys in the trenches in World War I had it easier.
Well, you saw the lady a while ago that walked by. Yeah, she was partaking of their legal cannabis laws, and pretty much everybody, from what I've seen, has been partaking of their legal cannabis laws. I never have until the secondhand smoke that I'm getting out here right now. So.
When Rachel and I were out there a couple months ago for the Vegas race, there were a couple days where it's just like, oof, man.
They've just
Dude, he's gonna be shirtless by the end of this.
Yeah, manure from now on.
It's not me that's going to be shirtless, but I've seen some people walk by on the other side of the road.
Oh boy!
My goodness.
Seth, take us through the iRacing finish and that championship that we just had. What, 2-3 nights ago?
Oh gosh, that was chaos.
It was a bit of chaos. First 90 laps went caution free, which for iRacing, that was actually impressive. Granted, their races are usually clean, but in the playoffs this year, they've been hectic. Nick Ottinger was able to get on the right strategy, get fresh tires at the right time, swing by Bobby Zelensky on the final restart and take the championship. Chris Shearburn of Letarte Esports got his first win. Nick Ottinger from William Byron Esports. It looked like the race was going to be the championship, too, for that matter. It was going to be between Williams Esports, Ryan Luza, and Bobby Zelensky from Virtual Racing School. Luza had the best car all night. There's no doubt about that. And Zelensky tried a late crossover, misjudged it, and hooked Luza into the wall with about 25 laps ago. More like about 10 laps ago now I think about it, but it basically set off a chain of events of multiple overtime finishes. There were 3 total, and it was on that last caution that Ottinger got his last set of tires that allowed him to, he climbed, I want to say, from 20th all the way up through the field to finish 4th and beat Zelensky for the championship and $100,000.
Nice, for playing a virtual racing game.
Although, if you ask Nick, he had a lot of stuff to overcome this weekend because he lives here in North Carolina, just like me. He had no power the entire weekend after Hurricane Zeta rolled through here until Sunday night at, I think, 11 p.m., and the race was Monday night. So he was able to race at home on his brand new Logitech G923 wheel, which was essentially given to him by William Byron and their sponsor, Logitech. He's used that the past 7 races, and in the past 7 races, his worst finish is 7th. So even in iRacing, new equipment, better equipment does make a difference.
Not for me. Speaking of iRacing, I did renew my $15 driver fee for the Monday Night Racing League. it hasn't been returned to me yet. So I guess I'll still get to race this next season.
Yeah, I haven't paid my dues yet, but I will be as soon as I get my next paycheck. And I've already let them know, so they'll get it, and I'll be able to race even before I pay. But they'll get it.
Well, we may help y'all out. Are you going to get in on it, Justin?
I'm thinking about it. Like, I've still got my wheel and all that stuff. I'm doing other racing games like Gran Turismo and Wreckfest and a few others. So I might do that.
What about Wreckfest? That's Monday Night Racing. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really as open-minded as Justin, I guess. I've been, I was into it years and years ago when I was in like Xbox leagues, and then we transitioned over to iRacing for a few months, and I did that, and it's for real. It's a lot of fun. I can see how those real-world habits can be broken on that, but it's definitely, it's got that anticipation when you're watching the race, but also if you're in it, it seems like a lot of fun. So maybe, not sure yet.
What about you, Lewis? You going to get in on some iRacing?
Sorry. I don't play games on computers.
Well,
it's not a game; it's real life.
Yeah,
No, I know it is. Hey, look, you saw me trip and fall playing disc golf. I can only imagine what I do, but I can drive a stick shift in real life.
Oh,
there you go.
Not many people can say that anymore.
I actually have a question for Lewis. In your experience career, did you ever think you'd see NASCAR or any motorsports outlet or series, for that matter, sanction an esports league or of some sort?
No one could imagine it. That's all these old jokes. I remember when sex was safe and racing was dangerous, or when the tires were skinny and the drivers were fat. There was nothing. I will tell you, the pioneer, a late friend of mine, Michael Hollander, he started this thing on CompuServe Forum, Racing Information Services. He couldn't get credentialed because he was online. Can you imagine that? And he used to bring a tape recorder with an early OS and a portable television. And then all of a sudden, you could get the results from there. And in his career, he worked for the West Coast branch of Campbell and Company, which represents Ford. But in his career, he did a live show with Dale and Teresa Earnhardt from his bedroom. Didn't have studios. But so when you ask me, this is wonderful stuff that we have now. Here we've got all these people in different places. I'm stuck at home, but I can still talk to you guys and watch the races. So I don't think anybody could have imagined it. I did play with slot cars. Do any of you guys know about slot cars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quite a few.
Those are fun. And do you know about rewinding armatures?
Yep.
So you had to go to a big store to do it, though, because they were like this big, and that's how I did my virtual racing. But as I said, when I was 15 or 16, I got somebody to drive me out to Bridgehampton, and then I was hooked. But I couldn't imagine the realism in iRacing. I think it's terrific, and they have the same thing for gamers in. I'm a big history buff, so I see the World of War. They do battleships and destroyers. It's great what you can do now. And what I like to see is now, what I couldn't imagine, though, is that teams sponsoring young talent. So you've got iRacing teams that are affiliated with Penske or Joe Gibbs. That's amazing to me. That never would have happened. And by the way, back when I started following racing in the 60s, you brought money to the team, till you were good enough. Teams, there was no developmental teams. So this is a great opportunity out there if you want to get a start. I couldn't have imagined it.
Funny you talk about that, because I literally am standing across the street from the Hyper Esports Arena at the Luxor Hotel and Casino. It's the center for esports entertainment. I'm reading the big sign over there. And I haven't gone over there yet, but heck, maybe we can do some iRacing from there. Maybe that's what we do. Next year, I'll get with the Luxor because I have comps there. It's they're an MGM property. And maybe we can do some type of an iRacing event out of their esports thing. How cool would that be?
Maybe they got a senior league for retired lawyers, and I would do it.
There you go. There you go. Now, obviously, this weekend's the championship in Phoenix. Yeah, I mentioned it before. Zane Smith edging out Matt Crafton for the final championship 4 spot. You know, there's all kinds of odds going on out here in Vegas with William Hill and the bookmakers. But who would have thought that Matt Crafton would be sitting it out in the final race, and Zane Smith would make the final 4?
Yeah, fairly surprising. I mean, if you were to tell me from the start of the year that was going to be the outcome, I probably would have passed on that. But I mean, seeing how this round played out, I mean, first off, that truck race at Martinsville was unreal. I mean, that was about the most aggression you'll ever see in a race. The amount of contact, and that bled into all the races this past weekend, I felt. But I mean, Enfinger was just not going down. I mean, many names are up front from Sauter and Rafael Lassard and Ben Rhodes, who was in a similar position, Christian Eckes, and it just didn't matter what position Enfinger was in. He was going to go for it and do everything that he could. And I mean, it was Rhodes who was in second place, I think, with 2 laps to go, and he gave him the bump. He gave Enfinger the bump, but he gave it too early. And I think his reasoning was that Christian Eckes was behind him, and you know that he just wrecked Eckes the week before at Texas. I mean, that's just once you get enemies in this playoffs, I mean, it's so silly. That's just how these guys race. And so he felt like he had to go, and it probably cost him the win. And Enfinger got it. And Zane, as I said, was a surprise. He caught my attention fairly early in the year at Charlotte, but he was able to sustain that momentum throughout the year, won some races, stood up to pressure. So, I mean, his numbers are kind of hit and miss with these top 4. He's got the least amount of top 5s, the worst average finish, but he's there, and he's been consistent enough to where I feel like he's a worthy component for this championship race.
Well, just to add to Ben Rhodes, not only did he try to make that move too early, going into the final corner, it looked like he was going to try to make a bonsai move on Enfinger, only for Christian Eckes to shove him all the way up and out of the corner. I'm pretty sure Eckes knew what he was doing because Rhodes was in either a must-win situation or I have to beat Zane Smith by a certain number of places, and shoved Rhodes out of the way just enough to make Rhodes miss the championship 4. So I'm not sure if Eckes may have gotten his payback without actually wrecking Rhodes.
Well,
if he did it, he's got one more race to do it.
Yeah, he's got one more race to do it. And, you know, let me give you some odds real quick here. This is the odds to win the race. I don't have championship odds because those are they didn't put those out basically because there's only 4 guys in the trucks, and they're doing head-to-head stuff. But the overall odds to win the race Friday, Brett Moffitt, a 7-2 favorite, Sheldon Creed, a 7-2 favorite, Zane Smith, a 9-2 favorite. It's a little greater than 2-1 odds, and Austin Hill, a 10-1. Kind of mid shot there. Grant Enfinger, who's running for the championship, also 10-1. I may actually have to put a couple bucks on Grant Enfinger at 10-1 odds because if he wins the race, he wins the championship. There's a lot on the line there.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Austin Hill from Martinsville because everyone else seemed like they had a shot. They were running for it. I know Brett Moffitt crashed out, but for Austin Hill, man, like the one race where you can't have anything go wrong mechanically, he loses that motor. That was just unfortunate for him to not be able to put a charge towards that. But yeah, I mean, I might see if I might want to put down some bucks on Enfinger.
There you go, Lewis. Who's your favorite?
Well, I'm going to say Sheldon Creed, and I got a story. I have a million stories.
Oh, Lord, a story from Lewis, of course.
He was racing in Robbie Gordon's Super Truck Series on Belle Isle in Detroit, and as I was entering the park, one of the policemen or somebody there, not a policeman, but with the track, said, "This guy needs a ride into the track." and it was Sheldon Creed.
Wow.
So I follow his career, so I'm going to pick him because
There you go.
he's not going to remember, but he let a New York driver drive across the bridge into the park.
You were his New York cabbie.
That's it. He
There you
didn't
go.
very well,
There you
but
go.
racers are notoriously short-armed.
Okay, now let's jump over to the Xfinity Series Championship, and then we'll get the Cup Series and kind of go back and fill in some things there. Who do you like, guys, for the Xfinity Series Championship coming up on Saturday?
Well, for me, for the Xfinity Series, I'm gonna go with Justin Haley. I keep calling him a dark horse. He's calling himself a dark horse, but at Martinsville, he was able to keep himself in the points despite an engine going bad, a broken shifter, and a broken track arm mount.
Wow.
So I'm not sure what else he has to overcome this year. But to have all that in one race, especially Martinsville, I don't think there's anything that can stop him if that can't stop him.
So he got 2020 at Martinsville and overcame.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely. I mean, when I look at these three championships, I feel like the Cup is the biggest toss-up, but I think Xfinity is probably a close second there. Briscoe's to lose, I feel. Probably Allgaier is to win, just his longevity in the sport. I think people are sleeping on Haley and Cindric, just like Seth said. I mean, with Haley, but Cindric's been a little quiet. But I'd probably have to go with Justin Allgaier for what would be another Junior Motorsports Championship. They're fourth in the last 7 years. He's just fantastic at Phoenix, dominating almost every race there. I think the last 4 years or so, 5 of the last 7, he's led more than 50 laps, and he's got a couple wins. And I think he definitely wants it the most. Not like any of the guys don't want it, but I mean, as I said, the amount of years that he's put into the sport, and just where he is in his life, he's a little bit older than those guys. I mean, I feel like, we know Briscoe's going to Cup, Cindric's going to Cup, Haley's probably going to be there very soon. He's already a winner in Cup. But Allgaier, he's just in an interesting spot. You really don't know when a guy gets his age in that type of equipment, what will winning a championship do? Will that get him the Cup? Are those days over? I certainly hope not, but I think a championship will put him in a good spot.
He's been there. He just never really was with a great team. So it would be good to get him back. Justin, who are your thoughts on the Xfinity champ?
Yeah, I think Zach, you said it best. It's Briscoe's to lose, and if you think about it, he only has one top 5 in the last 5 or 6 races or so, and that was his win earlier. So I'm not saying that he's kind of fallen off of pace, but as they get to Phoenix, I hope that team hasn't figured out or hasn't forgotten how to win a race, because it's obviously going to be what it takes. And 4 out of these last 5 races hasn't really quite been there to win these races. There's just been those 1 or 2 other drivers that have been a little bit quicker, and sometimes that's all it takes to obviously grab that championship. So if it's not Briscoe and he does end up losing it, I'm liking Allgaier. He's always been consistent at Phoenix. He's almost like the Kevin Harvick at Phoenix in the Xfinity Series. He's always up front towards the end, even when his car's been terrible handling wise. He still somehow sneaks in a solid top 3, top 5 finish when he probably shouldn't even been in the top 10. So look out for Allgaier, just one of those quiet guys who can probably sneak his way up towards the top and possibly steal this if Briscoe can't get the win. What
do you think, Lewis? You have a horse in this race?
Well, since y'all ganged up on me before we started recording, I got to go with Little Gator.
Okay.
But what Zach said, he is a veteran. He's with Junior. And mindset is very, very important. And that's going to play into my pick for the Cup champion. But I think that you go into the championship. And as you were saying, too, though, stuff happens on the track. You could have the best mindset, the best cars, but and something odd happened. But aside from that, Gator goes in there, Allgaier, and it's another race to him. he doesn't put any extra pressure on him because he's been there before. And so I like being able to enter a championship race and just be calm.
Well, I'm going to go with the fan pick, the feel-good pick, and mainly because I want to be a contrarian. I'm going with Briscoe. And look, I mean,
just tell Jerry no.
just tell me no. Exactly.
Just say you can't do it.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, Jerry.
I'm picking Briscoe. What that kid has been through this year, and personally, and to know that he's got a ride, he's got everything going for him, and then but the personal side in his life really has been heartbreaking. The fans are behind this kid. I want to see him win this championship. He deserves it. He needs to get out there. I know he hadn't done as well as you would think in the past 4 or 5 races, but he hadn't forgot how to win. And I guarantee you, I know Tony Stewart, okay? Y'all know that. They have been working on this Phoenix car for weeks, okay? So this car, the only thing I think that could go wrong with this car is they overworked on it, okay? That's the only thing that could go wrong. I think he gets out front, and it wouldn't surprise me if he leads every lap. But I'm going with Briscoe. So there you have it.
Well, that'll be for Xfinity Saturday out at Phoenix. Man, I am so bummed that we're not out at Phoenix. That was supposed to be the race Rachel and I were going to until COVID decided to say no. But Jerry's going to be out there covering that for Kicking the Tires, and
Zach's going to be there.
Zach, you're going to be there, right?
Yes, me and Matt Corson here at Kickin', we're flying out on Saturday. So we're probably going to be in the media staging area for the Xfinity race. That was kind of my idea, since I did like 8 cup races from outside the grandstands this year. And then Sunday we're attending the race, which actually be my first race as a fan in over 5 years in the Cup Series.
Ooh,
wow.
I'm usually covering it or I'm at home. So I can't wait to see the sport from that angle. And it's gonna be. I just couldn't miss a championship weekend. It's gonna be really fun.
Well, I'm going to be in the press box all weekend. I'll be there tomorrow night for the truck race. I'll be there Saturday for Xfinity, and obviously in the press box for the Cup Series race on Sunday. Speaking of Cup Series races, let's talk about that championship. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm driving a Ford Mustang. Okay. Nice, fast. Justin, it has all the bells and whistles that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, so it doesn't. It's not one of Harvick's Fords.
Oh.
Sorry. Wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
did you hit the wall with it at Texas on some wet asphalt?
He hunted for bear last year.
Yeah.
Hey, all I can say is I'm pretty sure Jerry didn't hit the wall with that Ford Mustang at Texas.
No, I didn't. But I'm going with Joey Logano as my pick, number 1. But by the way, this thing has a drag strip mode. It's pretty bad,
Oh gosh.
to the bone. So I've been having a little bit of fun. I took it off road. Don't tell the rental car company I won't tell you who it is, so you can't say anything. But don't tell the rental car company.
We'll air this after you return the car.
So what you're saying is you're testing the acceleration of the car.
Actually, no, seriously, it's a heart attack. I took it to a little gravel road quarry, a little rock quarry out here in the middle of the desert. There's probably dead bodies out there, but I was doing videos. I was doing videos that you're going to see on my social media later tonight of acceleration and taking off and driving off into the distance. And it all goes along with Shell sponsorship of Kicking the Tires, Roush Fenway and Yates, engines sponsoring Kicking the Tires, and I'm going with Joey Logano, like I said. But what about y'all? Because I want to get into the odds, and I want to get Lewis's comments, and then turn him loose so he can go have some more scotch. Because I'm jealous.
I'm not driving anywhere. No, I'm done. I still want to be able to pronounce Ashen Tashin. I wish I had said this some years ago, but again, my friend and mentor Mike Harris once said, you have to lose a championship to win a championship. And I was at Phoenix the year that Denny Hamlin lost the championship. You're going to say Homestead, and I'm going to tell you not. because Jimmie Johnson and Kevin Harvick did Jedi mind tricks on Hamlin at Phoenix in the post-race interview. I think Mike Ford was his crew chief. They messed with his mind. They messed with his mind that the Homestead thing, it's a new Denny now. You know, he's had 2 children. He's starting another team. He's got a second Daytona 500. I think this is Denny's year to complete his resume with the title. I would have picked Ford. I would have picked Harvick if it were not for last week because he's been so good at Phoenix. But I think this is the time. Again, you don't have to win the race anymore. All he's got to do is finish ahead of those 3 other drivers. So I think this is Denny's Hamlin year. This caps off an incredible year. Can you imagine winning the Daytona 500, starting a team with Michael Jordan? But to do that, to have a team like this, a year like this, I think he caps it all off that way.
This system has lent itself to first-time champions for the most part. So if it's not Hamlin, it would be Chase Elliott. It's going to be one of the 2. If I had to pick, though, I'd probably lean towards Hamlin because, like Lewis said, you have to lose a championship before you learn how to win a championship. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like everything's going in his favor. Even though Chase may have the momentum from Martinsville, there was actually a stat that a NASCAR man put together. No driver has won the final race before a presidential election and gone on to win the championship in the same year. So
hey, that's reaching for a stat, guys. I'm sorry.
hey, he actually put it together, and it's actually accurate. But anyway,
watch it go into fruition this weekend.
The election's in November, though. It's not like it's in April.
Yeah, exactly.
I said the final race.
Now the election is going to be decided. It took place in November. We'll get the result in December.
Well, yeah.
Anyway. Point is,
we'll have a champion before we have a president.
Yes.
Oh no.
There's a good chance.
Wait, a 2020 champion or a 2021 champion? Because
there is that for sure. Zach, who's your pick for the champion this year?
Well, up until last week, I had Harvick as my champion throughout the entire playoffs. Yeah, you told me. We'll get into that. But things change, and so do my championship picks. So I'm with Joey Logano now. That's kind of my gut and my head telling me that. My heart says Hamlin for similar reasons as Allgaier. But my gut and head tell me that's Joey based off his experience in the championship 4. He won the title just a couple years ago, and his past and recent success at Phoenix. He just won there in the spring. So, and he's been pretty smooth lately with some top 3 finishes, quiet top 3 finishes, which might not cut it this year. I mean, yeah, Harvick's not in it, so he might win, but I mean, you got to win this race to win the title, and he's proven to do that before, both at Phoenix, as I said, this year, and at Homestead 2 years ago. So I'll go with Logano for his second title.
Wow! All righty. Okay, now Justin, it's your turn.
Man, so you've got Logano, who's kind of like the new closer. You've got Chase Elliott, who's just young, hot off of Martinsville clock, and then you've got Denny Hamlin, who, like you guys have said a few times already, who has learned how to lose a championship, and he knows how to win one now. But there's one guy who has been so quiet, but always been there every race, every round. And I think Keselowski has been so quiet, just kind of lurking around, learning what everybody's weaknesses are. And you're going to see Brad go for 2 this Sunday at Phoenix.
Well, he drives a Ford. I mean, and it's white usually. Mine's white this weekend. So I could see that would be maybe that's an omen.
Did you see he's packing his beer stein from the championship that he drank the whole thing?
Someone asked him that on Twitter. They're like, are you bringing that this weekend so you can drink out of it again when you win? And I think that's what started him to think of that and pack that up and take it.
So I don't know. I was there and I saw him drinking and celebrating his championship. I don't know if he remembers his championship much. He was wasted. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him because if you win a NASCAR championship, by God, you deserve to get wasted.
With Miller Lite as your sponsor.
Especially when Miller Lite is your sponsor. So there's nothing wrong with that. For me, I mean, I don't drink beer, but you know what? They have a lot of other stuff. So, but.
All right. So now that we're done picking our championship picks, Jerry, since you're out in Vegas, I think you got some Vegas odds there going on. So let's have a little fun. First off, let's see what everyone's odds are. But this is going to be the last race for two very, very legendary drivers, Clint Bowyer and the third 7-time champion of the NASCAR Cup Series, Jimmie Johnson. Who do you guys think will finish better than the other? Will it be Jimmie Johnson finishing higher at Phoenix or Clint Bowyer finishing higher at Phoenix?
I'm probably going to go with Bowyer, actually, myself. Just putting, just a quick eye on the stats, the Phoenix stats. Jimmie only has 2 top 10s in the last 9 Phoenix races, and Bowyer's got 2 top 10s in the last 2 Phoenix races, including a top 5 this past time. Phoenix was one track that Jimmie was just epic on years and years ago. I mean, he won there all the time. Usually it was right at the end of the year before he won those 5 straight titles. He won Phoenix a lot. But track's changed a lot since then. They've redone it a few times, and it hasn't been to his liking. Hasn't been to Bowyer's liking as much. But just, as I say, gauging off those previous stats, I'll probably give Bowyer the nod here.
So would you bet that?
Well, we're not going off finishing. I don't think they're going to get top 5s, but maybe one of them will get a top 10. But
So-
I would bet Bowyer.
So here's how betting odds work in Las Vegas. There's actually matchups. Okay, you can see them right here. See if I can get that.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Now, Jimmie Johnson matching up with Clint Bowyer. If you think Jimmie Johnson is going to beat Clint Bowyer, you basically you can bet even money. $100 will get you $100. If you think Clint Bowyer is the favorite, you can bet $120 to win $100. So he's negative 120 odds. So you're right, Zach. Clint Bowyer's the favorite to finish higher than Jimmie Johnson this weekend. Lewis, what's your story about Clint and Jimmie? What are your thoughts?
My story's about Johnson, but to pick, I go along with Zach. I think that Bowyer has been and producing more this year versus Jimmie. Even though Jimmie may be a little more sentimental to most people, I don't have a whole lot to add on that. But I would say I'd say Bowyer will outfinish Jimmie based on current stats.
And you were talking about, you said you had something about Jimmie that you wanted to add as well?
Motor Week magazine is doing a special, and Al Pierce, who's even older than me, asked some seasoned veterans to rank Jimmie. So I'll let you read it. It's very short, unlike I am about my words, but I gave my analysis why I think Jimmie, you really can't rate Jimmie against all the other drivers, including Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. But no. I found a way to rationalize why I think Jimmie is the greatest NASCAR driver we've seen. Autoweek.com, unlike my name, which is difficult, but to show people I'm still alive and still writing in magazines, and this online only now. So, but if you can read it, folks at home, I'd appreciate it. There'll be some other great Mike Harris, Al Pierce, I think Deb Williams. It's just some perspective on a great champion, also a very good person. He was. I will say this: it's not in the story. They used to say he's boring, he's this and that, but he's a very real person. I always had good interviews with him in groups or one-on-ones, and the sport's going to lose a lot now that he's retired. On the other hand, I also do IndyCar, so I'll see you guys less, because I'll go to more IndyCar races to see how he does with Chip. That's going to be a combination.
Well, okay, Lewis, we're going to cut you loose before you go. 75-1 odds for Jimmie Johnson to win the race this weekend. Just in case you want me to put a bet down for you when I go back over to the South Point.
All right,
for anybody that does,
down for me.
I will put $2 down for you, and I'm sure Brendan Gaughan and Jimmy Vaccaro, the sportsbook guy over at South Point, they will be very appreciative to take your $2.
Okie doke.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Lewis. We appreciate you being on, and we will. I'll catch up with you sometime in the off season to bring you some scotch.
Cheers. Nice seeing you guys again. Seth, I'll see you sometime soon too. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Zach, Justin, take care.
Yep.
Likewise. See you, Lewis. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, guys. Now it's my turn to trash talk, y'all. Not only did I win $100 on my fantasy picks last week for the NASCAR truck race, okay, because you guys thought that I was going to get blown out with the picks that I had. Kevin Harvick got knocked out of the final round of the NASCAR playoffs at Martinsville, and I called it from the very start before the championship playoffs began. So, told y'all.
All right, Jerry was right, but I think after your swing and miss on De Benedetto, you kind of had to make up for it, and I guess you made up for it with this call.
Look, I was just hoping. We had a fan. Wait, we got fans back there. That's awesome. We had fans trying. I want to be on that. See, you never know what's going to happen here in Las Vegas.
Although I do have to say, Jerry got it right on this. He told us so. He got it wrong on De Benedetto. But at the same time, y'all thought I was crazy for saying that Kyle Busch was going to get eliminated as well.
Yeah, Kyle was in my final four. I did say that.
I think I said Kyle Busch was going to be eliminated after in the second wave, round of 12 going to round of 8. He was going to be eliminated there. I think I said right.
I said he was going to go winless too, so I was double wrong.
Yeah, I think all of us were saying that. And what's funny is I think we were all starting to we all finally kind of said that going into Texas, and of course that's the race he wins.
Yeah.
Well, going into Texas,
I didn't have
you
a
guys
Kyle
said he
bobblehead.
was going to be winless. Jerry said he was going to win there, and I said he was going to win Phoenix.
Yep. So I didn't have a Kyle bobblehead, but I darn sure said that Kyle was going to win. Go back and check the tape. And I also said
I'm vouching for Jerry.
And I also said Joey Logano was going to make the Final Four, and guess what he did?
You also said that Chase Briscoe is going to win
every race.
Every race, and he's done everything but that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
just to keep you honest.
I have a bad memory when it comes to things that I'm wrong about.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, he still has the opportunity to get to 10 wins and beat Harvick this year for the total number of wins.
That would be awesome. So, what are we missing? We've done Xfinity, we've done trucks, we've done Harvick, we've done Championship 4, we've done Zane Smith. Seth did the iRacing, Vegas odds. What's left to do? We're going to crown a championship this weekend.
I think it's ready to just edit the tape, upload it overnight, and get ready for some good racing here for the last weekend of the season. Man, this has been a wild ride this year with COVID, but hopefully next year's a little bit more normal.
I'm here in Vegas. Sadly, I can't spend the night. I've got to go back to my hotel in Laughlin, which is like a mini Vegas if you've ever been out there. It's actually kind of a cool place. But I'm going to take a ride over to a favorite restaurant, have some dinner. You guys enjoy. Zach, I will see you in just a couple of days. Seth, I will see you probably in the off season. And stay in touch, everybody. Obviously, we got shows to do. We got another show to do next week. Justin started this thing. We're not going to quit.
Nope.
So this is we got bigger and better things to come. Thanks everybody for tuning into the Kickin Show. I'm Jerry Jordan. I'm here in Las Vegas, heading to Phoenix for the championship weekend. Justin Schuoler, Seth Eggert, and Zach Catanzareti. Thank you guys for being here and being part of Kicking the Tires.